Thank you for listening to the Pull It Back podcast. Now here are your hosts, Mike and Andy.
Hello and welcome back to the Pull It Back podcast. I am Mike, and of course we're joined with Andy.
Hello.
And so this is episode 17. I wanted to just dive right in, not waste any time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So there's a new virus from mosquitoes called EEE.
Sounds sexy.
Have you heard of it? It's called the Eastern Equine Encephalitis.
Ooh, that's a brain mushing disorder.
Yes, it turns your brain into mush over time.
Yeah,
it's a rare case of brain infection.
That's like that CWD, that chronic wasting disorder that deer get. It's something spongiform encephalopathy, I think, and it just turns their brain into mush.
Yeah. Like
mad cow.
Yeah. So this is very similar to that, but I guess it's transmitted through mosquitoes, of course, because they transmit every fucking thing.
Perfect.
So most occurs in eastern or Gulf Coast states, which is exactly where I'm at.
Well, you're pretty far from the coast, man.
The Gulf Coast?
You're pretty far from that.
Texas is the Gulf Coast.
Well, you're in central Texas is a fucking huge state.
I know, but still, I mean, it's like it's close enough.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like saying, yeah, but Ebola is only found in Sierra Leone, but you live in Nigeria. It's still too fucking close to know that there's a brain-melting disease that's being transmitted through flying insects.
Now, is it communicable to humans yet, or is it just in animals? Oh, shit.
It says,
well, there's your zombie apocalypse right there.
Yeah, this is dead on, man. It says approximately 30% of people with EEE die. And many survivors have ongoing neurological problems. So, I mean, if you get infected, you're toast. I mean, that's it.
Fuck, man. Yeah, once it's in insects, it's all over. It's fucking done. You're done.
Yeah, it says the only way to prevent it is to prevent mosquito bites during the day and night. Use insect repellent, wear long-sleeve shirts. But that's the thing, man. Like, with mosquitoes, at least where I'm at, like, even if you wear long-sleeve shirts
they'll
and
bite through
pants,
that motherfucker.
They'll bite through it.
Like
one day I got home to take a shower and I took my pants off and I noticed on my left thigh there was probably a dozen little mosquito bites and I was like, dude, I wore pretty thick pants.
Yeah. No, they're fucking terrible. Like, I was out in the tree stand the other day hunting and I was like, fuck, I should have brought my Thermacell. Thermacell, I recommend, if you're anywhere in a mosquito area like that's got that scary ass EEE going on, do yourself a favor, get a Thermacell.
Oh, I got one at work, man, for sure.
They work excellent. If you're going to be outside doing anything, having a picnic, get yourself a Thermacell lantern. It does like a 30 by 30 area. You will not get bitten by a mosquito.
It does. It works like a charm, man, because it
is excellent. It's the best product that's ever been made as far as mosquito repellents. Because you don't stink, and they stay the fuck away from you. Like, I've seen mosquitoes fly up, and they're like, oh, nope, no thank you. Don't want a part of it.
Yeah, they get close, and they're just like, nah. And then, like, because the only problem I have with the Thermacell, though, is that the replacement cartridges get really expensive.
You can actually get some knockoff replacement cartridges, and there's actually a few videos on YouTube that show you how to refill them with butane.
I have tried doing that. I have, like, probably a dozen cans of butane, and it won't refill. I've done everything I was supposed to do.
So what you got to do, what I found out is there's a one-way valve on it, okay? Yes. So you got to melt out that one-way check valve and then refill the butane.
I've done it.
I've done it several times. It's pretty easy.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong then.
You may want to check those YouTube videos again because there's plenty of them out there.
I did it like 7 or 8 times. I have 7 or 8 different cartridges, and not one of them has refilled.
There's a specific like nozzle you have to use too for the butane.
Yeah,
you gotta find a butane with like a really small nozzle. That's what I found out too.
Yes, and I've done that. I found the ones with like the multiple size nozzles.
Yeah,
and it still doesn't do shit.
I don't know. Did you take a hot needle and poke through it?
Poke through what?
You gotta take a needle and poke through that membrane because it's a one-way check valve.
I pulled the check valve out.
You got to pull it out, but you got to also poke a hole through that plastic.
Yeah, the plastic. Yeah, I've bored out the plastic and everything.
I don't know what the hell you're doing, man, because it worked for me.
I'll get another one, and I'll show you how I'm doing it. Because if you say it works, because I've gone off of YouTube for like 4 or 5 different times, and it hasn't worked. But anyways, I mean, this is riveting stuff here, talking about
indeed
refilling butane tanks.
Well, I mean, you can get them on Amazon for pretty inexpensive, like big packs of them. But anyway,
it's like when you're using them at work and you're using them all day, it adds up real quick. Like you burn through like a 48-hour pack in a day or two.
Yeah, I mean, I can get where it would. Yeah, you definitely need to check out a better way to refill them because
it's expensive. And the butane part, like, and luckily, Thermacell has caught on to this and have actually started selling the pads and butane separately.
Oh, they've always done that.
Oh, I've only seen it in packs.
Yeah, no, they definitely do that.
Oh.
God, there's this guy that I used to work with. He knew where to get the actual pads.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could get a pack of 100 of them for, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving right along.
Yeah. So Amazon I think it was this past week or last 2 weeks or something like that. Amazon had an event to where they announced a bunch of new Amazon Alexa infused products, which is
infused products.
Well, it's
like check out this Alexa infused wine.
Yeah. Oh, it's a spritzer. So Amazon Echo Loop was announced. It was like one of the bigger ones. And they also have like Amazon Alexa glasses and high-end speakers. Even they have Alexa into the oven.
Wow.
Yeah, they're putting basically what they're doing is putting a microphone in every single room in your house. And on top of that, if you're not wearing your Amazon Alexa glasses, they have it on the Amazon Echo Loop, which is basically a smart ring.
Okay.
And what you do is ask Alexa something on the run, and then put it up to you, like you hold. It's almost like you're talking into your hand because you're talking to this ring. And then once you ask it a question, you put your hand up to your ear, where the ring is, and it'll speak to you like through the ring. It's like a little speaker and microphone built into this little ring that you wear.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They have a smart clock. They have a smart oven. All of these have Alexa in it, of course. High-end speakers, earbuds, and even glasses where you can get your prescription lenses put in them. So it's basically a microphone on your face, on your hand, in your kitchen, and anywhere you go, basically, so they can listen to you and then sell your data so they can advertise more shit to you.
This just reeks of Skynet.
Yeah. It is. It's like Alexa is literally in everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I mean, what I'm suggesting is that do not go out and buy all this crap from Alexa. And it's like, because it's just going to add up. It's going to add up to where everything you say is monitored. I mean, it already is, but I mean, and they're like, nah, they wouldn't do that. There's security measures. Like, bullshit. They've had countless class action lawsuits saying that they've apologized publicly. They've had to pay out. They've had they even have websites you can go to, and they give you a list of all the shit that they have on you and things they've recorded on you, and you can go to these websites and check them out, and it's disturbing.
Jesus, man.
So anyways, I'm trying to get away from the doom and gloom and shit like that as of late, but I mean, there's a lot of it in this episode, so be prepared.
Strap in.
Yeah. Also, another big story. I don't know if you caught on to it, but the Bronx Zoo. The lady that climbed into a lion exhibit.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. I was like, "What in the fuck?" That was like just begging for another Harambe thing. Like,
yeah. She climbed into the lion exhibit and then taunted it. So she was like dancing and taunting it so it would move. And it's like, dude, she was right in front. If you watch the video, she's right in front of it. I
know. Well, they have those little trenches in front of it, but lions can fucking jump like 15 or 20 feet. You know what I mean?
In this scenario, I don't think there was a trench in front of it.
No, there definitely is. If you look close enough, you can see it goes all around the enclosure.
I didn't see. I just saw a bunch of like.
Well, I mean,
bushes and stuff.
if they didn't, that's a pretty fucking tenuous enclosure for a lion.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that's nothing. Like it was a little tiny wood picket fence, and then that's it. That's all that was separating them.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's pretty fucking stupid. So I have to imagine that there's those big ass trenches, like when Harambe was in the gorilla enclosure. There's that big ass trench with all the water down there.
Yeah,
because they don't cross that kind of shit. But a lion, if they were really salty about that bitch making fun of him, he probably could have jumped it and just mauled her.
he easily, and that's the thing. This story would be totally different because if she would have stayed in that thing and taunted him a little bit more, because I mean the thing is that nobody around that was watching this like called for help or anything or told her like, hey, get out of there. So
Well, there's people in the background, but these days everybody's so goddamn aggressive that if you say, hey, you probably shouldn't, they're like, fuck you,
well,
and then try to
not
fight
just
you.
That, but everybody's wanting to get this quick Instagram story.
Yeah. Once
Like,
again,
I could take a video of this dumbass and I'll put it on Instagram and I'll get 1,000 likes or whatever.
Once again, the social media culture that we live in is just so fucking toxic. Here's a pro tip. If you want a better life, get off of social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is a form of social media, right? I mean,
I
we're on
would say-
Instagram and shit like that.
Yeah, but we're just speaking our mind. And I mean, Instagram, we're not taking video and trying to get 1 million likes. We're just speaking our mind. That's it.
I just hate that that's the platform that everybody notices you on is, well, they're on Instagram.
I know,
Let's go
it's
check
like-
them out on Instagram. And you got to make posts and you got to keep up with that shit. And then, you got to try to impress your friends and your family. And then if you disagree with somebody, you got to talk shit to them. And it's like, whatever happened to a good old-fashioned fist fight? You beat the shit out of each other and you shake each other's hand and you go on about your business. You're like,
Exactly.
okay, you kicked my ass. Clearly, I shouldn't have been running my mouth. Like that woman, somebody should have went in there, dragged her out, and beat her. Like, just you were so fucking stupid.
Yeah, by far. Because I mean, if she would have gotten killed, because lions are extremely territorial, and some stranger comes into your home taunting and aggravating the lion, I mean, it should have attacked her.
Yeah, and that was a fucking male too.
Yeah,
Like if it was a lioness, it would have probably been like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But that was a big ass male lion. Like, I mean, how stupid can you be?
well, I mean, pretty stupid because she has
Clearly.
kids. She's. I mean, she's procreating, when she clearly shouldn't have. And
That's
if that
usually par
lion
for
would
the
have
course.
fucked her up, I mean, that lion would have been killed itself for doing something it is supposed to do instinctively. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad both the lion and lady are safe, but I still can't help but think it might have been better if the lion just got rid of that person so she doesn't procreate again.
Yeah, well, in certain cases,
Yeah.
let nature take its course. But
yeah, in certain
maybe
cases.
she'll get the EEE.
Maybe. I can only hope. Hopefully, nature takes its course on her. But I mean, the thing is apparently like this isn't her first time with trespassing.
Oh, so she's a serial trespasser.
I think she's done it once before, like in a similar situation. I don't know if it was a zoo or not. I didn't read too much into it because I was just like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
But I know it was not her first time. But anyways, she's been found out. She's been arrested. So, hopefully, I don't know. I want to say hopefully she won't do it again, but damn well she's going to.
For sure.
So hopefully next time, whenever she climbs into, it'll be like a rhino and it just spikes her. All right. Do you have a story that you wanted to bring up? I've gone like 3 in a row here.
Well, I mean, not really. Not too many stories. Well, in spirit of the last episode, I do have a stupid fucking startup.
Okay.
It's called Me Taro, and it creates T-shirts with milk.
It creates T-shirts with milk?
Yes,
Like
they
cow's
are.
milk?
They are spearheading a campaign against milk that has been disposed of. Wasteful. People are just wasteful. something like 30,000 gallons. Hold on, what does it say? Some crazy amount of milk every year is disposed of improperly, just kind of, thrown to the wayside. Mm-hmm. I was like reading this and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is...
That's probably the most hipsterish thing I've ever heard.
I was like, this is news. This is really news. Seriously?
They're like, if you were just vegetarian, we wouldn't even have this problem. But since we do, we're going to make T-shirts out of... Well, how do you do it? How do you make a T-shirt out of milk? Is it like that cheesecloth strands or whatever?
Apparently, yeah. They turn it into a powder, mm-hmm. and they turn it into fibers. Mm. I was like, what? Damn.
So what, the first time you wash it, it would fall apart?
They better not be hunting. We're in a fucking neighborhood.
Anyway,
I just heard a gunshot outside. Oh. Well, I live somewhat in the country, so I think people are shooting out there. Mm. It's called Me Taro. It's a green fashion brand that aims to solve the world problems through means of sustainable fashion.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Of course, they are based in L.A.
Mm-hmm. That's actually surprising. I would have guessed San Francisco.
128 million gallons of milk go to waste every year globally. Not only does dairy pose a problem in terms of food waste, it also raises concerns on how so much product can be sustainably discarded if not consumed. I didn't know that there was a milk problem.
I didn't either. That's so ridiculous. There's a milk problem, so we have to, instead of, if people would have just grown up on a farm, they wouldn't have wasted milk.
Maybe.
I mean, how many times did our grandmother
everybody
get super pissed off when we didn't finish our milk?
Like, you never finish your milk. I don't know.
Give it to me. I'll drink it. And then get super pissed off, and then you feel bad. You're like, oh, all right, well, I guess you can drink it.
Yeah. It's fucking... God, it's just so goddamn stupid. Like, people are just running out of ideas at this point, I mean, I guess it's kind of a cool concept of, like, to reduce waste or whatever. People waste so much shit. But it's like, God, man, you got to have a better idea than making shirts out of milk. Like, that's your gimmick.
But you know what? I bet you they're making money, and we're here talking about guys making milk shirts.
Yeah, we're talking about it. I mean, if we're talking about it, it must be something.
It worked enough.
God.
But I mean,
so stupid.
Still, it's like you're making shirts out of it. So I'm just wondering, like, the long term effect of that. Like, if you're lactose intolerant and you wear it, would it give you a rash? I don't know how lactose intolerance works.
I don't know. Make you shit.
I don't know, but I mean, like, if it's made out of milk and it eventually turns to like that cheesecloth stuff, like, would it stink over time, or would it age like cheese?
Just turn into your shirts turning into cheese in your dresser.
Yeah, it's like you have to keep this shirt refrigerated and all kinds of stupid.
It's like turns into Parmesan. But I guess we're having spaghetti tonight.
Or you wash it and then the rest of your clothes like smell like cheese. It's like, where'd that milk shirt go? It must have dissolved. Oh shit. But anyways, let's see. I came across this one. Actually, you know what? Because we'll wait for that one, because that one's kind of intense, and that's some of the bigger stories we have. I'm going to wait a little bit later for that. It's intense. So I wanted to go over some. I have this like email. Hang on, let me pull it up here. I have this email subscription thing. I mean, it's not like you pay for it or anything, but it's called Word Genius. You ever heard of it?
What?
Word Genius.
Word Genius.
Yeah, like every day it sends you a hard word.
Oh, okay. Like to add to your vocabulary.
Yeah. So, I was gonna say a couple of them and see if you know what they are.
Okay.
All right. Copacetic. What do you think that means?
Oh, it means everything's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's on point.
This is probably the worst person to play this game with, because you know all this shit. What about bailiwick?
I don't know what fucking bailiwick means. I've never heard that word in my life.
I got you on this one. It means a person's specific area of skill, knowledge, or ability. I'm a novice at science, but literature is my bailiwick.
Nobody's used that word in hundreds of years.
It's 15th century, yeah. Ameliorate.
Ameliorate?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that word before. I couldn't tell you the definition. Can you use it in a sentence?
Well, yeah. The massage I received helped to ameliorate my back.
I guess it helped your back out.
Yeah,
Relieves.
to improve or make more tolerable.
Indeed. Quite.
All right. Erudite.
Erudite. That's a sword on The Witcher.
No, I'll give you a sentence. She developed a reputation as an erudite scholar who was passionate about her field of study.
I guess someone who is the go-to person. Somebody
No,
who's...
It's possessing knowledge as a result of study or learnt.
Learned?
Yeah, learnt.
Learned.
All right.
Learned doctors.
This is a crepuscular.
Crepuscular. God. Well, see, you did pick the right person because I only knew one fucking word. Crepuscular? That sounds terrible. It sounds like some kind of pain that you would be in.
No.
I don't know.
Of or pertaining to twilight or active in twilight or evening. Like crepuscular animals tend to move around in the period between day and night.
Ah.
Like bats.
Interesting.
Or cougars? Oh, yeah. She said, my wife said it, or cougars, like from Red Dead Redemption 2.
They'll get you. They'll get you.
All right, eponymous.
Eponymous?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that word before. Oh, God. I don't know.
Her eponymous album was a hit, and now everyone knows her name.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's well-known, famous.
Yeah, relating to the name of something. All right, I'll do just one more here.
Okay.
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral. Oh, that's something that is. Oh God. Something that is. God damn it! I know this word.
My
something that is
ephemeral
really
romance
close.
Lasted only this summer.
Oh, yeah, that's what. Okay, something that's really
Fad
close,
or
emotional.
ephemeral. Yeah, no, it's like fleeting or short-lived, or like lasting a single day. So like not very long. That's what I mean.
Oh well, I was way off then.
Yeah, super.
I know I've heard that word
You're
before.
an idiot.
Sorry.
You're so
I knew one.
stupid.
I knew one.
You got one of them, but you got to have all of them. I didn't know any of them. That's why I keep them saved. I was like, I'll find one, I'll read it, and then later on in the day, I'll be like, I'm going to use that at some point, and I'll wait patiently for my opportunity to use it.
Interesting.
Check out how smart I am, and then if I start getting the hang of it, I'll like, all right, maybe I can add this to my vocabulary. It takes a while though. It takes a long while because I'm pretty stupid when it comes to vocabulary. So, you want to take just a quick break?
Sure.
And we'll jump in and do some road noise and talk about some of the car news that's going on because there's quite a bit of shit going on.
Road noise.
Road noise. All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Pull It Back podcast. So this is our favorite segment, road noise.
Road noise.
Road noise. All right. So this is a segment where we talk about cars and car-related things and news. Andy, what do you got?
Okay, so we got a new rival to Tesla. So they say. It's called the Porsche Taycan. Taycan?
Oh, that's Porsche's electric car.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks pretty intense, man. I
mean,
did see it. Is that the one with the LED headlights or whatever?
Yeah, it's basically a Panamera with a electric motor.
Yeah.
Of course, the Panamera looks amazing, but
I don't like it.
You don't like the Panamera?
I don't. You talking about the 4-door like hatchback?
Yeah,
Porsche?
yeah, it looks great.
I don't like it. It's like a wagon.
Yeah, dude, wagons are. I have a special place in my heart for wagons.
But if you're gonna buy a wagon, you got to go with the OG, which is a Volvo.
Yeah, the Volvo. What is that? The S60 or whatever, something 60.
The X, yeah, or the W, something like that. But
yeah, whatever.
There's one that's parked here at our apartment complex. There's like an old Volvo wagon, and I was like, damn, man, that just looks fucking cool.
Dude, those old Volvos are like serious sleeper cars, man. They made the special. I think they made a turbo one. That's like it's like one of the best sleeper cars that you can get, and it's just
it's
a
got
wagon
an iron block, so you can just crank the pressure up on it.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this, man, check out. I'm sending you the picture of the Taycan. It looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But you
know,
know,
we'll post the picture on our Instagram.
The thing is, it's. Let's see.
Follow us at Bullet Bag Podcast on Instagram.
So they're basically touting because Porsche has a racing heritage, it's going to be better than the Tesla.
So what makes it faster and better than the Tesla? Does it have more range? Does it have more power? What?
It increases the range by 5%.
What?
It has a much more efficient transmission, apparently.
I thought it didn't have transmissions.
Well, torque converter, I don't fucking know. Of course, it has the rapid the instant acceleration of a normal, electric car. That's just insane. Yeah. The Taycan's electric motors produce 1,050 Newton meters of torque,
which is like a little under 1,000 torques or foot-pounds, I think it is.
I have no idea what the conversion is because we're over here with dumbass units in the U.S. But
I know 400 because the Ranger Raptor, the 6.2, the older one, that was 550 something Newton meters, which equated to I think 420 or 430 foot-pounds.
We'll put the figures up on Instagram or whatever. But
yeah.
So this is kind of cool. You know how we were talking about if they get charging in under like 20 minutes, that'd probably be worth investing.
Yeah, yeah.
80% charge in 22 and a half minutes.
Yeah, but how much juice do you have to have running through the cable?
It doesn't really say.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, if you can charge it for sure, but that is a lot of power to run through a cable at one time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, good luck getting your house rated for that kind of amperage.
So, apparently they have a turbo and a Turbo S, but they don't have turbos.
It's just electric turbo.
They have electric motors. Yeah. They're all-wheel drive on each axle.
Like
they're powered by 800 volts instead of traditional 400 volts.
Nice.
So it's fast.
Well, I know that's like a thing I didn't know about with Tesla cars. Like, you know how they have the ludicrous mode where it goes 0 to 60 in like under 3 seconds or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that there's like a whole pretty long, like a 10-minute process in order to get it set up to where it can do under 3 seconds.
Right.
Like, you have to hit ludicrous mode, and then you have to be like, select this and select that, and then you have to wait for the batteries to warm up. Which is like a 5 to 6 minute process, and then once they're warm, then you have to do the launch mode, and then it can take off and do it. But it's like a full process, so you can't just like be driving and then hit the gas and it go. But I mean, it still has a lot of power regularly. But I mean, it's still like if you want to do that, acclaimed under 3 seconds, 0 to 60 or whatever it is, 2.5. You have to go through this whole process. So I wonder if this Porsche Taycan has that.
Not 100. It doesn't really say a whole lot about it. It's just talks about power figures. Like I said, it's clearly a fast vehicle. It looks great. I mean, of course it's going to handle well. It's built by Porsche, so it's going to be, bred for the road.
Porsche is made by
looks...
Volkswagen, so their figures can't really be trusted just yet.
I mean, that's true. But it looks great. Honestly, it looks like a four-door version of the Supra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I really like the new Supra. I really do.
I do, too. The Supra does look pretty good, man. I like the way it sounds, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a Z... What is it? A Z3?
Mm-hmm.
BMW Z3?
Yeah, BMW Z3 platform, and then they just basically did Toyota badging, Toyota bodywork, Toyota suspension. No. Actually, I think it has a Z4 suspension, and then it has, of course, the Toyota powertrain, the V6. A nice sounding V6 too. So, anyways, one of the bigger stories though is the Corvette, the rear-engine Corvette, the factory strikes that GM is going through right now.
Oh my goodness! So I drove by the Bowling Green plant the other day.
The Bowling Green plant is the one where the Corvettes are,
right,
like the Hall of Fame or whatever it is.
Right. Well, they have the museum and they have the Corvette plant there too.
Yeah.
There was about 3 cars out front, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I stopped to get gas, and there was a bunch of signs, saying we're on strike and this, that, and the other. So apparently they've been on strike for about 2 weeks. I had heard that they were going to go on strike because GM was laying off a bunch of people. And, the union couldn't come to terms with their pay and this, that, and the other. So they went on strike, as well they should. So who knows when the 2020 Corvette's going to be in production, because nobody's at work.
I was about to say it's been delayed. And I saw a statistic where it showed like GM has lost like $6.7 billion so far because of the strike.
Wow.
Like they've lost a ton of money. But apparently... they're waiting this out because this is the one part of profit that they can actually control, because they can't negotiate prices for material. They also can't negotiate taxes, but they can negotiate workers' pay. So they're sitting this out to try to get it as cheap as they possibly can. So it's just strange, man. I don't know if I wonder if and when the rear-engine Corvette is gonna be on the lot, man. I want to see one in the wild.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see one.
But anyways, I had another little story I came across. The rebadging of cars. Like, it's a pretty common thing,
right?
Like, one of the standouts is like I don't know if you remember, like a couple years ago, they had the Toyota BRZ, or excuse me, the Subaru BRZ and the Toyota AE86. The little rear engine, or not rear engine, the front engine rear wheel drive little sports car.
Yeah.
I think it was a Scion FRS in the beginning. Now it's the Toyota AE86.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
I love that car.
Yeah, they're both the exact same car. They just have different badges. One was they're both made by the same company, but one has a Subaru badge, one has a different engine, and the other one has a Toyota engine and has a Toyota badge. Well, there's been a lot of cars in the past that have gone through this rebadging process, and the worst offender out of all of them has got to be GM. They had an Australian-made Holden Monaro, which was like a big Australian muscle car over there.
Yeah.
And they rebadged it to the GTO.
Right.
There's a big V8 powered, but they just slapped the Pontiac badge on it, called it the GTO, hoping that the name would stick, and it didn't. I mean, that was probably the most pathetic of all of them. The super let me take this back. The most pathetic out of all of them was, you remember that super compact, it was called the Toyota IQ across the pond. It was a Scion something here. The Scion, I think it was the Scion IQ or something like that. It was like a super, super tiny little car, almost the size of like a smart car.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Well, it was rebadged as an Aston Martin Signet.
Really?
You remember that?
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it was a super, super tiny Toyota. I don't know if they still sell it here, but I know I want to say they still sell it over across in the UK and Europe and whatnot, but it was called a Toyota IQ. They rebadged it for an Aston Martin because they wanted to meet emission regulations. So since they couldn't meet it without making a small car to save cost, they were like, well, we're just going to add this to our lineup, call it an Aston Martin so we can get lower emissions and whatnot. But they still charged, I think it was like $60,000 to $80,000 for this Toyota. The literal only difference was that it had the Aston Martin British green color, and it had quilted leather instead of regular leather on the inside, and it came with little Aston Martin pillows. And, of course, it had the Aston Martin badge, and that was it. But, I mean, like I said, it's come across the entire thing for a long time. Like, the Chevy Cavalier is a Pontiac Sunfire. The Saturn Vue is a Chevy Equinox. I mean, like I said, GM's the worst offender, except when Aston Martin rebadged a Toyota.
Wow.
It's intense. Anyways, did you ever get that video that I sent you for that Miracle Whips?
Yeah.
From Donut Media? There's like this thing on YouTube called Donut Media, and they have this segment called Miracle Whips, where it's like this guy, he's a comedian, and he goes around and drives these cars and tells you at the very end of the day, like, is it the one he would drive for the rest of his life? That's the only car. And it's absolutely hilarious. I strongly suggest checking out that YouTube channel. That was making me giggle like a little schoolgirl.
I saw the one with the guy driving around in the drop top Bentley.
Yeah.
He was talking about how the sport mode is like just people. This guy, your favorite sports car, just dunking balls in your face.
Yeah, that was funny. He's like, this is like balls in your face dunking, and then when you have it in comfort mode, it's like the after game press conference where he's like,
yeah,
you know, I saw a shot and I took it.
Yeah.
It's all calm and stuff.
He's just yelling at people the whole time. He's,
it was hilarious, man.
He goes to Taco Bell. He's like, do you want sauce? He's like, does it cost?
Yeah. And he's in a freaking Bentley. And like while he's ordering, he's like revving the engine. He's like, I can't hear you. Say it again. Yeah, that's a funny show. So I strongly suggest watching that show. It's called Miracle Whips on the YouTubes.
This dude's hilarious.
So I wanted to also, I came across this other YouTube video the other day. It was for because you know, this has always been kind of like a dream of people's. Like they could live on a cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have one, and it's called The World.
I've seen that they were going to try to make something like that. It's like 10 stories or some shit like that. It's got all kinds of gardens.
It is for the elite, like elite. It's like six, what is it? Like $6 million per. It's like an apartment.
Jeez.
It's like 1,000 square foot apartments on this cruise ship, and they have, of course, staff. So it's like $6 million to pay for your space, and then you have to pay yearly. I think it's like between $600,000 and like $1 million every year for each person to pay for the staff and the docking fees and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's real. They literally take a whole wrap around the globe every year.
Jesus. So it's like an expensive fucking cruise.
Well, you live on it. I mean, you can. I mean, it's like if you ride on your boat in your little house, you know, they have like built-in tennis courts. Of course they do, because rich white people. And then they have like hot tub pools. They have all kinds of stuff. And then I saw another thing that they're actually. Did you know they're rebuilding the Titanic?
I saw something about that. I was like, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. They're like, yeah, but this one's going to have lifeboats. It's like, oh, so you're expecting like this one's going to have enough lifeboats. Like, I sure hope so.
Plan for the worst and hope for the best.
I guess so.
Well, just don't go near any icebergs. I guess you'll be fine.
No, they're taking the exact same route.
Cool.
Yeah, they're building it where it was originally built, and they're sailing it to Britain, and then once they fill it up with very wealthy people, they're taking the same route to New York, but it's going to have like sonar, radar, you know, all the high end stuff.
What if that motherfucker sinks?
There'll probably never be another Titanic.
What if that, like Titanic 2, and then it's like tragedy struck today as the Titanic 2 sailed its maiden voyage across the Atlantic, all hands lost. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, but it's like you're in the middle of the ocean. One, global warming means there's no more icebergs.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess they don't have to worry
Two,
about that.
they have radar, they have sonar, whatever the high-end technology is. I can't even think of it. They also, if something starts going down, they have radio to be like, hey, we're going down. And they can have helicopters and fighter jets or whatever that go out there and save people. So I think you'll be all right. And they have, instead of, I don't remember the exact number of original lifeboats on the first Titanic, but this one has like plenty. Like it has like 200 and something for the however many passengers. It's enough.
Wow.
But
That's an incredibly stupid idea.
Yeah, but isn't there like a little part of you that wants to see it go down the same way?
I mean, no, because there's a
Almost
lot of
like
people.
A reenactment.
No, that would fucking suck for those people. But I'm saying,
it's like 5,000 people, and how many people are in the world? 7 billion. That's a drop in the bucket.
God,
for
Jesus.
a good story.
For a good story. Well, I mean, for the sake of continuity, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a true to life reenactment.
That would be so bad. That would be so fucking bad. I don't want to see that. I definitely don't want to see that. That would.
You don't want to see a billionaire's little play toy get cracked in half?
No, not at the expense of, a bunch of people dying. That would really, especially that kind of death, that would really suck.
Freezing in the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, what would have, do you understand how much, would have to go wrong? Like, I'm talking catastrophically wrong.
Well, they said that the Titanic was unsinkable too, but here we are.
This was also from 1912. Because this whole, apparently, because one of the big things with the original Titanic is that it was riveted together poorly, and this one is actually welded together.
Okay, it's welded together.
Instead of riveted like it was in 1912. They're like, it's unsinkable. Even though it has the whole of Swiss cheese, it'll be fine.
Those unbreakable pop rivets.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. They also sold cocaine as being the cure-all for everything.
Well, yeah. They also said cigarettes were vitamins.
Yeah, they said cigarettes were vitamin. They made you more robust. They also thought, actually, this was that image that I put on our Instagram. The Winston cigarettes?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm smoking for 2 because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was like, thank God that we have Winstons because, or what was it? It
My
was
low. It causes low birth weight, which
Talk
makes
about a win-win-win. What?
Like,
it was like,
yeah, I get a skinny baby, and I don't.
Yeah, she's like, I get a skinny baby, so I don't get injured or whatever in childbirth, and it was disgusting, and it was like from the 60s or 70s, man.
Well,
it wasn't that long ago.
Oh well, I'm sure it was a little bit before then, maybe 40s or 50s. But yeah, that's like.
No, it was like in the 70s, man.
No, I don't think it was the 70s.
I promise you, because that's what made it so, terrible.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't from the 70s, dude.
It was when cigarette companies were totally cool with advertising in everything.
I'm pretty sure that was from like the 50s. That's some 50s shit.
I don't think so, man.
I'd be willing to bet. You want to bet?
It was in color.
They had fucking paints and stuff in the 50s.
Yeah, but they didn't have color.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
For advertisements.
Everything was black and white.
No, God, no.
Color in the world was invented in like the 1980s.
You mean after Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
God.
Or maybe it was invented. Oh, here it is. I found it. Taste isn't the only reason I smoke. People are always telling me that smoking causes low birth weight. Talk about a win-win-win. An easy labor, a slim baby, and the full flavor of Winston's. And then it says, Winston, when you're smoking for 2.
That's so fucked up. Yeah, that's definitely some 50s or 60s shit.
I just don't. It might be. I don't know. It's not old enough to not be shocking. You know what I mean? But anyways.
Oh, look at this. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Doctor
idea.
recommended.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 doctors.
9 out of 10 doctors. It's just like toothpaste.
Yep.
God bless.
But actually, that brings me on to our next big hot topic, the Hong Kong protests.
Oh,
Bet you didn't see that one coming.
not at all.
Protesters, I saw this video from, I think it was NBC or something like that. Protesters are working together to disable and destroy surveillance cameras by basically building like human walls of umbrellas to cover up the person that's going in and destroying the surveillance device. Because, I mean, if they get caught, they're in huge trouble. Because I don't know if you know this, but China has, well, if you listen to our podcast from the beginning, we had the one about the Chinese social credit system.
Yeah.
So they basically judge their people off of their credit system. So how good of a citizen are you? Like, if you lower your credit score, your social credit score, like you can't use buses, you can't vote, you can't buy cars. I mean, like it's insane because it's like the most strict. What is it called? Communism.
Yeah.
On the planet right now, at least aside from North Korea. But I think that's more of a dictatorship. But anyways, so the people of Hong Kong were under British rule for like 99 years. They bought or they leased the land from China for 99 years, and I think it was in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. I think it was in between the 80s and 90s. I want to say.
Yeah.
They transferred it back to China, so it was supposed to be a smooth process, and by 2027, China wanted to fully integrate with Hong Kong. Well, as of recently, China didn't want to wait that long, so they're just diving in and they're just basically saying, well, Chinese will is going to take over this place and you're going to follow our rules whether you like it or not. Well, when you have, 2 or 3 generations that are used to democracy, having China come in and install all these surveillance cameras that with facial recognition and social credit systems, and you can't buy this, you're doing this because China says so. Protesters are losing their shit, so they're trying to break stuff. Like I said, they're making a human wall of umbrellas because if they get found out, they're done. Like they can be imprisoned, they can be exiled. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So they also have been using powerful lasers to burn out cameras from far away, and they also use them to distract police forces. And I mean, this is like they spray paint the little clear cover on cameras and stuff so they can't see. So China, in reaction to this, are saying that lasers are now considered a dangerous weapon and are going to be banned and illegal to own. And same goes with masks and helmets because they're covering their face with masks.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, punishable up to a year in prison for wearing face masks.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you get found out and the Chinese government is like, oh, I know who this guy is, I mean, they'll come into your house and they'll imprison you for at minimum a year. But if they find out that you were part of a protest, you could go away for probably ever.
Yeah.
But they also the Chinese government has also gotten pretty smart because they're like, oh, we can't identify the people, so to break up crowds, they've been using those water cannons.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like really super high power water cannons, and they started lacing it with like deep blue dye. So if you get sprayed, that blue dye will be on you, your person, and it's like really hard to get off. So if you can't get it off and they identify you, like, oh, why do you have this blue paint? Blah, blah, they could send you to prison too. I mean, they're getting crazy over there, man.
I know.
And I also saw
it's gonna be pretty bad pretty soon. If there's not a full on revolt that the military intervenes in pretty soon, I would be really surprised. I mean, they're already sending people to prison for wearing face masks.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That's like sending people to prison for wearing the wrong color shirt. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Of course, we think that's fucked up, but over there, that's probably the norm. Like, well, it shouldn't have been wearing a face mask. Like, really?
Well, I mean, that would be here. We're like, well, you shouldn't have worn a face mask. Government says so. But it's like, these guys are so used to democracy and being free. And then all of a sudden, a communist government comes in and just starts changing things because they were supposed to slowly integrate. That was part of the deal. And they aren't. They're like, we can't wait anymore. So they just started diving right into it. So anyways, China's constant surveillance is very deeply integrated. People of Hong Kong have been wrapping their credit cards and IDs in aluminum foil to block police from remotely scanning their cards and identifying them.
God.
If they get caught and identities are confirmed, it would be saved in a database in China, and they would be tracked and followed for the rest of their lives.
Do what?
They'd be tracked and followed for the rest of their lives if they ever get identified.
Whoa.
They'd never be allowed to vote. They couldn't ever use credit. There's a bunch of other things, like I was saying earlier, and they'd essentially be a third and fourth class citizen, where they'd be essentially worthless in the eyes of the Chinese government. I saw one guy, and he was saying, like, it's almost like a 0% chance that they can win this, but he said they have to try anyway.
Mm.
So it's pretty intense, man, and it kind of opens your. I'm hoping that it sends waves across the world about oppression, and including our current government here in the States, to where you don't take shit away from the people.
Well, that's easier said than done, you know. We kind of live in a walled garden. I've said that already twice today, but you know, we've grown up in an environment where freedom is taken for granted, and over there it's like kind of a new thing, and people are starting to realize that, hey, this is fucked up. This is not okay. It's not normal. We're being severely repressed by this government. By this government, that they reap all the benefits. We have to work our asses off for them, and we get nothing in return. Fuck them.
Yeah.
So honestly, you know, there's a lot more of the citizenry than there is of the military, and I'm pretty sure they're going to realize that pretty soon, and the government's going to be totally fucked. And history usually shows that when there's an uprising like that, the country usually becomes much worse off.
Yeah.
Much worse off. So
because government loses control, and in this case, because Hong Kong is so valuable, especially to China.
I mean, so much manufacturing goes on there.
Yeah, and I don't think China will ever back down from this. That's why the guys were saying, like, we have a 0% chance, or almost 0% chance of winning this, but you know, we have to try it anyway. Because I mean, we don't want to give up all of our freedoms, man. Like, they don't want to lose what they have, because you know, I think the difference between here and there is that here we disguise it under the glamour of security and security theater,
right?
To where, you know, like that Amazon Alexa bullshit. It's all about convenience and this and that, but it's like, dude, you know, the flip of a switch, they can surveil anybody here. At the
core of it, it just comes down to what the NSA can monitor you for. You know, are you a threat to the country, quote unquote?
Yeah.
And they use the guise of security, like you said, as a means to take away your freedom slower and slower.
Yeah, slowly but surely. I mean, it's working. And in there, I think
people,
their big mistake
the thing
was
is,
they
people
did it all
are
at once.
Right. Well, people are the difference over there is like they're like just now realizing it. They're like, holy fuck, this tyrannical government. Yeah, we got to do something crazy. But over here, it's seen as a fucking luxury. Like, you go spend your hard-earned money, be like, man, I really want this convenient thing. I can talk to it, and it'll order me toilet paper, and I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
Like, the government has created this culture, and then the government gets pissed off at us, like, oh, the millennials are so fucking lazy, and this, that, and the other, and they paint this narrative that it's our fault, and it's fucking bullshit. You know, because
it's kind of like that rebellious thing.
They've created this whole culture of such lazy fucking people. And I'm not going to lie, I'm an expert lazy person. But
Absolutely.
I'm not about to give up my privacy for the sake of saying, "Hey Alexa, can you order some toilet paper?" Fuck that. I'd rather go to the store. I like going through the process of going to the store.
Yeah.
Like, I like watching weird people walk around the store and fucking tweak out because there's a goddamn opioid epidemic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like people are just so blind to what's going on. I mean, by no means am I saying I'm the most informed person in the world. I just make opinions based on what I see because I'm a dumb person.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people just like, yeah, it is what it is, and we got to trust the government, and that's it. That's it.
Yep.
I'm going to go put this wiretap in my house and be happy with it.
Yep. I'm going to put one in every room of my house. I'm going to wear it on my hands. I'm going to wear it on my belt. I'm going to wear it on my face. And I'm going to carry it in my pocket.
And the really fucked up thing about it is they used a huge American tragedy to warrant doing this shit. You know, when 9/11 happened, they were like, nope, we got to wiretap people's phones. If you don't have anything to be worried about, it should be fine. That is a horseshit excuse.
Yeah, I know.
That's fucking crazy. That's an insane notion. And people were like, you know what? I agree. Wiretap the shit out of my shit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's like, that's not the point.
Yeah, the point
isn't that you're not doing it wrong. It's the fact that they're selling you this. Because, an example is TSA. When you go through an airport security, there's literally a term for it called security theater, because I want to say it's an extremely high rate of a failure with the TSA, where they have people that actually like are actors, and they go in with fake bombs and whatnot that are shaped like laptops,
right,
and briefcases and whatnot.
Right.
Well, they go in there and they essentially test the TSA agents, and I think it's like either 93 or 97% of the TSA teams in each American airport, they fail to catch the bomb. It's an astronomical amount to where they fail, and that's what, like I said, it's a term called for security theater, because all it does is make you feel safe, and it doesn't really protect you from anything. And speaking of that, I just thought about this. I came across this article where I guess you have to have a certain license in order to leave the country. It's like a smart ID or some stuff like that.
Yeah, it's you get it's like a gold star
next year.
Yes, it's you have to have it to leave the country. But what they don't tell you is you can only use it for ground transport. You can't fly with it, so you still have to have a regular passport. A lady I work with just went through this fucking thing. She was trying to get into Canada, and they were like, "Well, you got to drive there because your gold star ID only works on the ground." And it's good for like military bases and all this other bullshit. And yes, you do have to have it by 2020 or whatever. But this is just another way for the government to fucking track you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like a bunch of conspiracy, but you got to believe that this is just another way for them to track you.
It is. It's true, man. They're just like, all right, well, we have people leaving the country, but at least we know where they're at, even though they're in Canada or Mexico or wherever.
Well, and not only that, it's more expensive. I'm like, why can't I just have a regular driver's license? You know, why do I have to have this?
Well, I mean, if that's the case, and they have to, like, you get this license that tracks you for going to like ground transportation. Let's like go all out, make it to where all you have to do, like you do all the paperwork and background checks and all that shit. It's all on one ID, so that way I don't have to take my shoes off when I go to the airport. Just scan my ID, like, all right, this dude's not a flight risk, and then send me on through. But that doesn't mean somebody checks through all your shit in your bag and there's a bunch of bans and stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's insane. It's not freedom, because real freedom is freedom of choice. I'll say that until I'm blue in the face. And slowly but surely our choices are being taken away. Like, if you know flying is dangerous, then don't fly.
Right.
Drive. You make that choice.
God, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. It's getting fucking weird.
Yeah, it is, man. And then you also let's go ahead and jump into this next story, because we're kind of running a little long here. The vape ban. So they went through with it, and in several states they have banned vaping, at least vape flavors. In Michigan they banned it. San Francisco and California. San Francisco already full blown banned everything. They banned vaping altogether. California apparently is on the forefront of banning flavors. I can't remember which other states. I know Michigan was a big one, but anyways. New York almost banned it. They came to the last day. before it came into effect, and then they put a halt on it for now. Before banning flavors or anything. So that's another thing that they're taking choices away, and they're making it ridiculous. It's like this was supposed to be a healthy alternative, and it blew up. It became very very popular, much quicker than the tobacco company probably thought, and then they got into the game too late. Some of them did.
Right.
And now they're losing out, so now they're trying to get this shit banned. And to prove my point, last night, the vape, because my point has always been like, all right, so they're going to ban vapes. That's going to give the tobacco industry the chance
to get in there. Yeah,
to get in there and get people back on tobacco products.
Right. They didn't capitalize on it when they should have, and all these independent companies. Not to mention how many small businesses have popped up due to vaping, because there's countless vape shops all around us, and Big Tobacco is just wanting to slide in their DMs and be like, oh shit, this is a big fucking industry. We got to get in on this.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, isn't that always the case where like you have a bunch of small businesses that come up because, you know, big businesses like let them test the market. Let them take the risk. So then all these small businesses start popping up left and right. Vaping becomes a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
And then once it gets to like $100 billion or $100 billion dollar industry, then tobacco is like it's really bad for you. We got to ban it. So then they ban it, gives the chance for the big big corporations to dive in and take over the market, and then essentially in that time that it is banned, it kills all the small businesses.
Right.
So then you just are left with big corporations, and so this was my thing. I was like, this is all bullshit. They don't care about health. They don't care about your well-being or what it's doing to people or anything like that. It's just a way for big tobacco to buy into this and help out. So I was scrolling through some news articles last night, and I came across this thing from CNN of all places. Vaping is in a crisis. Smoking is taboo. This is the first paragraph, by the way. Altria has a solution. The Ecos or whatever, an electronic cigarette-like gadget that heats but does not burn tobacco. So Philip Morris has been selling Ecos for a while in international markets. Altria will distribute Ecos in the United States for the first time Friday. The timing couldn't be better for the new nicotine product as scrutiny grows around smokeless alternatives to e-cigarettes. Like I said, proving my point that they're banning vaping products because it's not tobacco, so that you can move back to tobacco. And I don't know if you know this, but Philip Morris is the company that makes Marlboro cigarettes and countless others.
Right. They're big tobacco.
They are the big tobacco.
It's like Winston-Salem and Philip Morris. Those are the two big hitters.
Yes.
And Winston-Salem has got Juul, don't they?
I think they do own Juul. Who owns actually no, I want to say and I think it is them that owns Juul. But anyways, to put this in a millennial's perspective, let's say you're addicted to cigarettes, right? Mm-hmm. Addicted to nicotine, you're smoking cigarettes. You're essentially on a subscription service of only $7 a day until you're dead. That's an excellent business plan, man, because you have constant revenue. Then you cancel your subscription to go use a different platform.
Oh, Altria. Juul is owned by Altria Group, Philip Morris. They own Juul and the Icos.
Oh, okay. Then there you go. So they own Juul. I'm sure they bought out Juul a while ago when it started blowing up.
Oh, look at this. I just saw an article. Juul replaces its CEO with a tobacco executive.
Of course they did.
Wow.
Of course they did. But, and like I said, it's all fallen into place, man. It is so alarmingly blatant that I can't believe people are, like some people are
falling for it.
Yeah, they're falling.
Well,
for this bullshit.
Michigan fell head over heels for it. They were like, "Oh, we got to ban flavored vapes because it's attracting children." But like, cigarettes have been attracting children.
Yeah,
it just tastes better now. You're full of shit for doing this. You're full of. I wonder how much the government is paying them to get rid of this shit, because it's absolutely fucking asinine.
It is.
It's like,
it's
wow,
disgusting.
you're going to limit grown adults' ability to choose because some kids did something really stupid that they shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
Yeah.
And maybe if their
Underground
parents
THC.
monitored them more, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And let's
they're-
be honest. These are 16 and 17-year-old kids. You know, if they committed a crime that was pretty bad, they'd probably get tried as an adult.
Yeah.
So don't sit there and fucking tell me that these aren't discerning enough individuals that they can make a conscious decision, that they were influenced by this bullshit narrative that these flavors, it's the flavors got them.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's
Guess
fucking
what?
bullshit.
I saw another article that said the only flavor that's going to be allowed for vaping is tobacco.
Well, go figure.
Tobacco and menthol are going to be the only flavors. So if you're going to be smoking tobacco-flavored vape,
You might as well just smoke cigarettes.
why not just dive into doing this new Equos heat stick, I think is what it's called. So it's all bullshit, man. It's right in front of our face, and they're trying to see how far they can. I mean, they're like, we can get away with it because fuck the American people. So let me go back to this. What I was saying for the millennials' perspective. It's kind of like so you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to nicotine, you're buying them for $7 a day, which is like a pack a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's subscription plan. You're doing it for the rest of your life. You're tied in. You're addicted.
Right.
So it's kind of like if you use Netflix and then cancel to go to Hulu. So you're stopping smoking cigarettes to go vape, right?
Right.
Let's say Hulu was vape, and then the government banned Hulu so that you had no choice but to watch Netflix, even though Netflix was known for killing 500,000 people every year in the U.S. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and if you still don't believe me, to give you an idea of what this is doing to America by banning vape flavors and vaping altogether in some places, it has caused Philip Morris, the makers of Marlboro cigarettes and many other tobacco products, stock to rise well over 5% in one day.
Wow.
I mean, which is a lot of stock in the company that causes health insurance and healthcare costs to skyrocket. It's almost as much as Apple stock rose after the iPhone 11 launch.
Jesus Christ. That's like if the government banned cars because people drove drunk.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going to ban this? It's not the car's fault that people drive drunk,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's the problem, and the whole problem is people don't even fucking look into it. It's like we said on the previous episode. They read a headline, they get their bias confirmation, they nod their heads, yep, that's all the information I needed. I hate vaping. Vaping is stupid. You shouldn't do it. And then meanwhile, like, tobacco is wringing their hands nefariously, like, yes, gold, let the hate flow through you. Yes, gold. And then here comes like, hey, I heard vaping was pretty bad. Let's try this. And it's the same fucking thing.
It's just worse.
It's just like a bullshit version. You can't put your organic cotton in there. You can't build your own coils. You can't do this, that, and the other. You can't choose the flavors you want.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I saw an article or a video where some lady in Michigan was talking about how unsafe vapes were. Her only argument against it was, well, there's no long-term studies on the effects of vaping. Actually, there fucking is. In the United Kingdom.
For a long time.
The United Kingdom and the Royal Council of Doctors or some shit like that, I can't remember what it's called, they said it's 95% safer than smoking.
Yeah.
And
they've done tests.
They've done plenty of tests.
Yeah, they've done it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong that there's any actual long-term effects of vaping, but you got to see.
But there's nothing that they know of.
Right. Vaping,
they have been doing long-term tests.
But vaping has been around. This is anecdotal evidence, of course. Vaping has been around for, 10 years?
No, I mean, mainstream, yes, but it's technically been around for like 30.
Okay, so let's just say, because I remember when those little cigarette-looking, the blue, you remember the blue?
Yeah, that's when that started to pick up.
Right. Well, they were
the
selling it in
first one
gas
were like-
stations. The little blue cigarette look, and you take a puff, and you replace the butts that look like. Anyway, that was 8 or 10 years ago when I had that, because I wanted to stop smoking and dipping chew, and it worked. It worked. But here's the thing. It's been around that long, and we're just now hearing about 500 cases of people getting sick. 500 cases. Or it might be more now. and there's only been 3 or 4, maybe 5 deaths. And they're like, oh my God, it's a health crisis. It's killing the kids.
Yeah, a health crisis. It's like, oh, don't worry about the opioid crisis that's actually killing people. And that the whole story is so corrupt.
And here's the thing. There's always, during election times, because this is like time to elect your governor for your state, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's always some bullshit that the news puts out to see which governor candidate can make the most of it. It's to turn a blind eye, make a stupid fucking thing an upfront story that everybody's like buzzing about. Meanwhile, in the background, they're doing some other fucking bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a matter of time to see that actually that they were fucking doing something crazy with like wiretapping come to find out every Alexa has a direct link to the NSA. But meanwhile, up here, let's focus on the vaping ban.
Yeah. And it's like what's disturbing is that every state so far that has banned vaping or is about to ban vaping, they're all Democratic. Seriously. California, Michigan, New York. I know there's a couple other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were all Democratic, and I was just like, I thought they were supposed to be progressive.
Yeah,
like they were supposed to be against tobacco.
Yeah, man, it makes me sad.
Really picked up steam when President Trump was like, "Yeah, we need to ban this because it's a crisis." And you're just like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And then of course everybody went with it, and then I was thinking, well, maybe. Well,
I guess that's one of the things that the Democrats and Trump can agree on, besides trying to get him impeached. Thing. Yeah.
But anyways, I saw this thing that was saying the CDC has identified one of the primary sources of these vaping-related illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Vaping illness, not death, is this thing called dank vapes.
Yeah, well, those are the black market THC cartridges that they were putting that vitamin E acetate shit in.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where 90% of yes, this is where 90% of these cases of illness are coming from, and they're finding out that they are black market THC cartridges. So once again, this is linked directly back to prohibition, because clearly there's people want to smoke pot. Mm-hmm. They want to vape it. It's the thing to do. It's the new wave. You know, they're like, well, it doesn't stink and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And people were, I don't want to pay $60 or $70 or however much they cost for a real one. I'll just get it from my street dealer over here. And this directly correlates with fucking prohibition and how it doesn't work.
Yeah, when it's illegal, you can't regulate it.
Exactly. And they're like, we got to ban all vaping. There was actually front page news, and I was really proud of my local paper, that said, black market THC cartridges are the cause of this vaping scare, not vaping.
Yeah.
So, and it said, let's look deeper into this. It literally said something along the lines of a deeper look at vaping and the actual cause.
Yeah.
THC black market cartridges. And I was like, thank you.
Somebody had the balls to say it.
Yes.
But mainstream news is still going to spit this out as, as a crisis, because it gives something it gives a talking point for the elections.
And exactly. And at the core of it, who gives a fuck if you want to smoke real cigarettes or if you want to vape? It should be your choice, especially for an adult.
Exactly. You can go to the store and you can buy whatever. Because this is when I had almost like an epiphany. I was in H-E-B. I was standing where the butter is.
Yeah.
And I looked and I was like, there are probably 30 to 40 different types of butter. Like, look at all the freaking choices I have. It was my choice to pick what type of butter I wanted, whether it be margarine, even though I am... That's the thing. The government's job is to inform the people with regulations and tests and stuff like that. Inform the people so that when the people go out to purchase whatever and do whatever with their lives, they can be informed with their choices. That's all you need to do. Stop banning shit. Stop trying to stop us from doing things. Just make an informed decision, or help us make an informed decision, and let us be. That's all you got to do. Just shut up. So, anyways, yeah, the government needs to chill out with this shit. I know there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of what are those when you get like 100 signatures or whatever it is?
Oh, petition.
There's like hundreds of petitions and stuff where they've all been well over 100,000 to change this shit because it's absolutely ridiculous. Because they're putting more and more power into the big tobacco's hands. It's going to kill small businesses, which they're very communal too. There's a lot of vaping shops around here that are in the community. They help out, so they've gotten hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people off of smoking cigarettes and probably saved their lives. But anyways, just I don't know. Just advocate, man. Advocate people, all your friends. Tell them like, hey, don't believe this bullshit. Educate them, and then they can make their final decision on if they like it or not. So, anyways, Andy, do you got anything else?
No, I think I've ranted and bitched enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have just one more story to kind of lighten the mood. So this is from USA Today. Raking leaves is killing our planet.
What?
Yeah. If you rake your leaves, it's killing the planet.
All right.
Yep. So don't rake your leaves. If you're doing it right now, stop. You're killing the planet. You're killing the ecosystem. All that crap. So it says, with fall season here, raking leaves from your yard may not be the best decision. Environmental experts say raking leaves and removing them from your property is bad, not only for your lawn, but for the planet as a whole.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So I read the whole article, and to make things short, it just says to mulch your leaves instead, because it says the majority of that 21.3 million tons was composted or mulched in state programs, the EPA says, yet still 10.8 million tons went to landfills, accounting for just under 8% of all waste in landfills. So,
well,
I
there's
guess
a startup.
8% of the
There's
shit that's in landfills is leaves, sticks.
Dude, I just got an idea for $1 million startup. We'll just make leaf shirts. We'll just make clothes out of the leaves.
Oh my God, that's genius.
Yeah, fuck it.
All right. Well, when we launch our store, the Pull It Back Podcast store, we're gonna make T-shirts out of recycled and recomposted leaves.
Yeah, we're gonna call it Beleaf
or Leave Me Alone. We're gonna make T-shirts, so be on the lookout for that. We'll pitch that on the next episode because I'm gonna get to work on it right now. I'm gonna find out how we can make leave T-shirts.
Sounds good.
Yes. So if you have leaves, rake them up. Send us a picture on Instagram and tag us in it, and we can get somebody to come pick them up. But only if you're within like 5 miles of my place.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not going to go outside of the city limits for.
Yeah, I'm not driving all the way out there to pick up your leaves. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to the Pull It Back Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Pull It Back Podcast and on Twitter, Pull It Back 1. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you guys again next week.
Thank you guys.